Hey everyone, and welcome straight into today's explainer. We are mapping out the absolutely incredible, rapidly shifting landscape of global artificial intelligence. We're going to be traveling all the way from the massive macro scale of trillion-parameter digital brains right down to the deeply personal, real-world human impacts. The horizon of what is actually possible is moving incredibly fast right now, so let's just jump right in and break it all down. Here is our roadmap for today. Section 1 is the new AI frontier. Section 2 is the global cyber race. Section 3 is the economics of AI. Section 4 covers hardware and energy limits. And finally, Section 5 is real-world AI breakthroughs. All right, Section 1, the new AI frontier, pushing the boundaries of digital brains. Starting at the absolute macro level, we are looking at a massive horizon shift in software capabilities. To give you some context on where we're heading, OpenAI's Noam Brown recently pointed out that AI capability plateaus are still very far out. In fact, a well-scaffolded model like GPT 5.5 can actually think for weeks at a time before its benchmark performance even begins to flatten out. And the sheer scale of the engineering happening right now to support that is just staggering. Take a look at this. 1.6 trillion. That is the number of parameters running DeepSeek's V4-Pro DSpark model, which also boasts a massive 1 million context window. But what makes this genuinely revolutionary is how it manages all that. It uses something called speculative decoding, which essentially lets the AI intelligently guess ahead to drastically save memory. That allows it to hold 1 million pieces of information in its working memory at any given moment. Now, this creates a really fascinating competitive dynamic. On one side, you've got open weights models, meaning their underlying architecture is publicly accessible from developers like DeepSeek, GLM, Minimax, and Nematron. And on the flip side, you have the frontier closed models from OpenAI and Anthropic. The big takeaway here is that the open weights models are keeping an astonishingly tight 3 to 6 month capability gap with those closed models. And they're doing it at an absolute fraction of the cost. It is fundamentally democratizing who has access to top-tier AI. And we're already seeing this intense capability running real enterprise workflows today. Industry leaders aren't just testing these systems anymore, they're fully relying on them. At Shopify, for instance, they're using this wild hybrid approach where GPT 5.6 dreams up the experiments, and then Anthropic's Fable 5 actually writes the code. We literally have AIs managing other AIs. Meanwhile, Elon Musk has noted that Grok 4.5 is being actively utilized right now within the core engineering workflows over at SpaceX and Tesla. Moving on to Section 2, the global cyber race, geopolitics and international security. Let's look at how these rapidly evolving digital brains are sparking a really high-stakes international cybersecurity race, because the tech is definitely moving faster than borders can contain it. Looking at this impartially, as U.S. export bans continue, this massive international vacuum has opened up, and other systems are stepping right in to fill it. Over in China, the company 360 is shipping its Tulongfeng model to match the cybersecurity capabilities of U.S. systems like Anthropic's Mythos 5, which, by the way, was recently returned to trusted users. Concurrently in Japan, Sakana is shipping its Fugu model. The global stage is getting very crowded very quickly. So how does this all connect? Well, these upcoming milestones are merging into one unified vision. Starting this August, there's a highly anticipated NSA cyber benchmark taking place. And this isn't just a routine test. This benchmark is expected to serve as the official gateway to clear massive models like Fable 5, which Anthropic expects to restore to full access soon, and GPT 5.6 for broad public release. It's a timeline that fundamentally reshapes our immediate future. Which leads us perfectly into Section 3, the economics of AI, navigating cost versus output. With all this rapid software development and international competition, the turbulent economics of the industry are coming into very sharp focus for businesses of all sizes. It's an arms race, and it's not cheap, but companies are figuring out how to fight back against those massive computing costs. By aggressively utilizing cheaper defaults and smart routing, Coinbase's Brian Armstrong managed to spike their cache hit rate, which basically means reusing already generated answers, from a mere 5% all the way up to 60%. That optimization allowed them to nearly halve their AI spend, even while their internal usage of the technology was absolutely skyrocketing. But while businesses are successfully optimizing their balance sheets, the human toll here is very real. Founders are leveraging what we call agent swarms. Basically, teams of specialized AI bots working together to ship 100 times more content than they previously could. And sure, it sounds like a productivity miracle, but the hidden cost is that the burnout rate among human developers orchestrating these complex workflows is exceptionally high. And that tension brings us to this stunning prediction from Gartner. They are projecting that in just a few years, by 2028, the raw cost of AI computing power required for coding will actually outrun the average human developer's salary. Just think about that flip in the economic model for a second. The compute is going to become more expensive than the human talent managing it. And that looming cost brings us right to Section 4, hardware and energy limits, the physical infrastructure and power scarcity. You see, you cannot have infinite digital scaling without massive, massive physical infrastructure. To really anchor you in the sheer scale of the physical investment happening right now, consider this number, $9 billion. That is what IBM is pledging over the next 5 years, specifically toward its 2029 Starling machine. And that is building on top of a $2 billion initial injection into its Andelin foundry, half of which, by the way, came directly from government funding. The scale of capital required to stay in the quantum and silicon game right now is just astronomical. But here's the catch. Money cannot instantly create compute power out of thin air. We actually saw this recently when Google reportedly had to throttle Meta's access to its Gemini system. Why? Simply because Meta requested more compute than Google could physically spare. It is a really stark reminder of the absolute compute scarcity we're seeing at the highest levels of tech. And to power these massive systems, energy innovation is surging to try and meet the demand. General Fusion just hit an amazing milestone, successfully tripling its plasma temperatures to 8.4 million degrees. They did this by physically squeezing the plasma, a process called mechanical compression. The race to crack commercial fusion is directly, inextricably tied to the need to power our AI future. Meanwhile, back on the traditional power grid, massive shifts are occurring right now to feed these data centers. Renewables have officially hit 30% of total U.S. electricity generation. And within that renewable sector, solar power has now officially overtaken wind. The physical landscape of our energy production is quite literally changing to support the digital one. All right, for our final part, Section 5, Real-World AI Breakthroughs, the Micro-Impact on Human Lives. Let's step down from those trillion-parameter models and global energy grids for a minute and see how all this infrastructure translates into deeply personal, real-world breakthroughs. In the physical realm of robotics, the adoption curve is basically going vertical. The company AGRBot just rolled out its 15,000th robot. And with that milestone, they have aggressively captured a 39% share of the humanoid shipment market. We are rapidly moving from software agents sitting on servers to physical humanoid agents operating in our actual world. Over in academia, long-standing barriers are just shattering. The famously complex mathematics puzzle Erdos problem number 870 has been officially solved by GPT 5.5 Pro. And the AI didn't just guess the answer, it formalized the entire proof across 180,000 lines of Lean 4, which is a specialized programming language used to verify complex math. These systems are autonomously pushing the absolute boundaries of human knowledge now. But honestly, the most breathtaking example of the new frontier is this workflow right here. A lone PhD, working out of a literal garage lab, utilized Claude Code and hooked it up to a liquid-handling robot. Together, fully automated in a garage, they successfully synthesized PAC-832, a selective Gall-1 antagonist, basically a targeted brain receptor blocker for Alzheimer's disease. Which leaves us with this final, truly profound question to chew on as we wrap up this explainer. What happens to our world when a single person in a garage holds the technological and discovery power of an entire multi-billion-dollar research institution? The infinite frontier we are looking at isn't just about massive scale. It is about massive individual empowerment. Thank you so much for diving into this with me today, and I highly encourage you to keep exploring how this technology is reshaping the world around us.